The clouds parted over the Isles of Boreas. It was time to choose. The rebellion was in trouble. Ravens were scouting for the secret rebel base. They needed a game changer. Pieces of the Skyrim had surfaced. Renato knew that using it could go catastrophically wrong. But he was sure he could figure out how to use it safely.
What should I do?
A temple had risen out of empty desert. The Iblis stone was hidden there. It was a dangerous artifact. It could corrupt its user into a bloodthirsty monster. Maybe he could find a way to use it. To take its power without surrendering to its wickedness. And also, his old friend Lapino needed rescuing. Of course, Renato had a pretty strong suspicion that Lapino had betrayed the rebellion. But could Renato really leave an old friend to the Ravens?
What should I do? Few stories. So I should go for the truth.
Apparently, the Mad Rabbit had sold a Pegasus that he did not exactly own. Lapino always wiggled out of trouble given time, but he was out of time. Lapino's frantic message said that the Ravens were going to kill him for being a rebel spy, and that he had a clever plan. If the fleet reached him first, they'd string him up for that. Never mind the winged horse. Or so Lapino had told him over the far speaker anyway.
Hopefully I don't get the same ending, cause I kept playing.
Lapino had apparently managed to confuse the judge by arguing that he hadn't actually stolen the winged horse. He'd only sold it. But wait. Where was the prisoner? The village was empty. Had everybody fled the Ravens?
Whoa, why am I getting beat up?
Renato had been here, at this exact place, at this exact time. But this time, there were so many more ravens. Renato thought of the Iblis stone and shivered. He had no business messing with ancient and cruel artifacts. What he needed was his friends around. Clear eyes, full hearts, can't lose. Truth was, Renato really liked the satin sword made in the air.
teaspoon stored from every inn in Boreas. And something more useful.
Money. Jump down? No. Level up.
Nice. That could be useful.
Wait a minute. I forgot how to. Where are my moveset?
He knew the known unknowns, and even some of the known unknowns. But he didn't know the unknown unknowns. You dig? Where was a workbench when you needed one? Oh, never mind. Had that door been open before?
to go around here.
Ravens were landing everywhere. The advance guard. He'd better get moving. If they got to Lupino first, they'd eat him for breakfast. Or a snack. Ravens weren't picky. If they got hungry, they sometimes forgot to interrogate their prisoners. Even top spies like Lupino. Well, unless he really was a traitor. Obviously. Then they'd probably pin a medal on his chest.
Read this? Fuck no. Lupino.
Dirty and bloody, Renato finally reached Lupino. The rabbit was practicing his shuffle. Renato recognized the cards. It was Lupino's favorite deck. Oh, I thought you were in danger. I am. The ravens are coming. Oh, the prison thing. Right, yeah, we said this guard owed me 53 ducats. So we made a deal. They're very reasonable people, actually, for weasels. Now, I got a brilliant plan to kidnap Zenobia. We capture Zenobia, we find out what she knows, and that's the whole war right there. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Capture the Emperor's greatest general, who also happened to be a deadly sorcerer and owed his only daughter. That would be worth it. On the other hand, he could still get to the core of the Skyripper, even if he couldn't get the whole thing. It must have great power. To make the Skyripper, the transcendent Emperor had wrapped an armature around the eye of a god. Bernardo had already let that armature slip away to save Lupino's life. But even its core, the eye torn from a god, surely they could fashion a great weapon from that. The core of the Skyripper? Lupino's excited. That's an actual thing that we could just go and get. You've been busy. You sure have. Renato told him all the things he'd been up to. Soon they got to talking about old times, about wages they'd won and lost, scrapes they'd barely got out of. It was good to be back with his friend. True, the core was capable of terrible, uncontrollable destruction. But this time, he was sure it would work great.
Ooh.
Here, thought Renato. It was nice to be back with his old war buddy. All right. Lupino was a traitor. But still, he was good company. transcendent emperor made the Skywalker out of the eye of a god. And he used it to defeat the gods. But how had he defeated the first god? The one with the eye? The road less traveled, thought Renata. How intriguing.
Goodbye.
There was something sour in the air. Like the earth had ruptured over something that had been fermenting for a very long time. You couldn't hack this kind of firewall. You had to warm it up. Never saw wild goggles together like this. The toads had to train them not to peck each other to death. So these to be Imperial goggles. That meant ravens were up ahead. There was an inscription on the platform. Balaleka lessons with an address. Renato felt wrong all over. He could feel an almost palpable sickness in the air. And if the land could have tumors, it would look like these monstrous crystals. The forest was quieter than it had been. There were insects, but few birds. He didn't have the ravens. Renato smelled sick animals and dying animals. But no health cures. I'm getting a bad feeling about this. Maybe Lapina was right. Maybe he should have kidnapped Zenobia instead of coming here. See? With enough leverage, you could go anywhere. As he held the radiant icosahedron, Renato felt queasy, like dozens of tiny worms were nibbling his insides. It wasn't healthy to be so close to the eye of a god. How could he use it? He could take it to the observatory. The scientists there could tell him how to harness its ancient power. But honestly, Renato ached to get away from it. He brought the core back with him to the Farfarer. But honestly, Renato ached to be rid of it. "Tell you what," said Lapina. "I'll take it to the observatory. You attack the Imperial outpost." The Imperial outpost was a vital communications node. Taking it could shatter the Empire's ability to coordinate. And it would be full of secret plans and maps and maybe even rebel prisoners. It was a good target for a hero like Renato. But what if Lapino lost the core to the Empire? That could be a good thing, couldn't it? Was Renato ready to take that risk? Maybe it was better if he brought the core to the scientists himself. Just Trust me, Bernardo, you won't regret this. I'll treat the car like it was my own baby daughter. As the far parent dived towards the Nexus, Lupino was jumping up and down with excitement. Stop rabbiting around, Bernardo said. Lupino just stared at him. The moment the ship landed, Lupino leapt off the ship.
Boogity boogity boo.
As Lupino vanished into the wilds of the Nexus, Bernardo vaguely remembered Lupino had a baby daughter, didn't he? And he told her mother he was going out to get some Easter eggs, and he'd never come back. But Bernardo was relieved not to carry the core anymore. He was already feeling better. And who knows, maybe this time Lupino would get it right. And if Bernardo could take the outpost, he'd have access to all the Empire's communications in the sector.
There you go.
That he died. Never mind. I'll wait. The new pathway made Bernardo curious.
Combo breaker.
Bernardo caught his breath. His joints still hurt, but he couldn't feel the poison in his system anymore. He'd let the armature slip out of his hands to save his friend Lupino. Of course he had to let Lupino take the core. The rebellion needed every man doing his duty. And the rabbit would be no good taking on an Imperial outpost, right? This was definitely better than pulling yourself out of a bucket. Renato took the outpost with a song in his heart. Soon, he was stuffing his sack with key messages from and to the fleet. Then the fire speaker toad chortled a new message. The observatory had been sacked by ravens. Lapino and all the scientists had been taken to the mountains. Why? Why trusted Lapino again? And now the Empire had the core. Renato hailed the rebel base to warn them. But their far speaker didn't come back. Was the base under attack too? If Renato didn't rescue him fast.
Well, actually, he wasn't exactly sure. It kind of depended on whether Lapino was a traitor or not. Renato just couldn't bring himself to believe that.
What are old friends for, if not to need rescuing every few days? Renato felt a twinge of doubt. Should he have gone to the base? No. Logically, wherever they'd taken Lapino was probably where they took the core, right? Oh, why couldn't Lapino have just for once not got himself captured? Was that too much to ask? He shouldn't be too hard on the rabbit. No, he meant well. And he was insanely brave. You have to admire that.
What the hell? Oh shit. Never happened before. What was that?
Good thing Renato didn't have vertigo.
Which way should I go? Can I go this way?
Newly remembered knowledge. Needed to focus.
Ah, what the hell?
was no sign of him or the ravens who'd captured him. Just rocks and snow and the usual scouts.
Who?
No sign of the core either. Was this a wild rabbit chase? Oh, trust Lapino to screw up even getting captured. But what was this rebellion for anyway? Well, Lapino was a useless goof. But he was a friend. If friends didn't matter anymore, what was the point of winning this war?
Uh-oh, now what? Uncle Biden loves it too.
The platform used a hybrid propulsion system fueled by anti-gravity and wishful thinking. Would soon be engaging the Imperial fleet in a desperate battle. Old Renardo had done to save a friend. Didn't feel as good as he'd hoped. At the end of the mountain path, Renardo came to a clearing. There was a campfire. Raven feathers and... Lapino's lucky deck of cards. Well, that wasn't good. Renardo hoped Lapino would not try to cheat his captors at cards. Ravens were much better than weasels at counting, and they had a very poor sense of humor. Then, he saw what he'd hoped never to see. Fresh scraps of rabbit fur. Ragged and bloody, ravens would eat anything.
By Grandpa's hammer!
Renardo screamed at the sky.
I will avenge you!
The rebels had assembled their fleet. Ahead, clouds were dark with Imperial ships. If he could reach the Emperor before the rest of the rebels did, maybe he could settle this without too much bloodshed. He set sail, and the Farfarer shot forward.
No new ending again.
You know, I've never been a great warrior. The Mad Rabbit was good for a lark and a laugh. And a pint. The thought of ravens eating him made Renato furious. The way they were eating up the land. The way the Emperor was eating up the people with his new, bloodthirsty ways. He would make them all pay. Renato had a feeling that was the back door to something. But what? He had given up every objective to save his friend. He had given up the armature, the core, the gem, even Zenobia. He loved Lupino, he realized. Now the rabbit was gone. And he looks after his friends, even when they're gone. He would send Lupino an honor guard of ravens to serve him in all the battles. He would avenge him. Renato wondered if it wasn't cheaper to build bridges and stairs.
Here we go again.
Finally, he reached the Emperor's ship. And there was Lapino, surrounded by ravens. He was alive! They'd eaten some other rabbit. "I'll save you!" he shouted with joy and flung himself at the ravens. "Oh, you shouldn't have," said Lapino when the last raven was down. Renato threw his arms around his best friend. "I had to come. I love you, man. You really, really shouldn't have," said Lapino. And Renato felt a rather sharp pain in his back. As he collapsed, Lapino took the dagger out of Renato's back and wiped it off on Renato's sleeve. "Why? You always have to be the hero. Brave Renato, epic Renato, super sexy Renato, and I'm sick of it." As Renato died, all he could think was, "Damn it, fooled again." He should go back to some of the choices he'd faced before. Maybe there were new paths that had opened up, like those doors he was opening up all over the map that took him to new treasures and around his enemies. And he hadn't learned anything new this time. He'd done the same thing twice, yet expected a different outcome. The book's pages.
Let me try one more time.
Faster than before? And he fell. The clouds parted over the Isles of Boreas. It was time to choose. The rebellion was in trouble. Ravens were scouting for the secret rebel base. They needed a game changer. Pieces of the Sky Ripper had surfaced. Renato knew that using it could go catastrophically wrong. But he was sure he could figure out how to use it safely. Also, a temple had risen out of empty desert. The Iblis stone was hidden there. It was a dangerous artifact. It could corrupt its user into a bloodthirsty monster. Maybe he could find a way to use it, to take its power without surrendering to its wickedness. And also, his old friend Lapino needed rescuing. Of course, Renato had a pretty strong suspicion that Lapino had betrayed the rebellion. But could Renato really leave an old friend to the Ravens?
I have to do the one where it goes with the girl.
Ah, Lapino. Apparently, the mad rabbit had sold a Pegasus that he did not exactly own. Lapino always wiggled out of trouble, given time. But he was out of time. Lapino's frantic message said that the Ravens were going to kill him for being a rebel spy. And that he had a clever plan. If the fleet reached him first, they'd string him up for that. Never mind the winged horse. Or so Lapino had told him over the far speaker anyway. Lapino had apparently managed to confuse the judge by arguing that he hadn't actually stolen the winged horse. He'd only sold it. But wait. Where was the prisoner? The village was empty. Had everybody fled the Ravens? People are frightened these days. Just 2 weeks past, Renato had sneaked through an empty town and listened to the ravens call at the Emperor's new taste ritual sacrifice. was still no sign of Lapino. Not a hair, not a pellet. Was he hiding in the cemetery further down the road? That didn't seem like him. Lapino would betray him. But now Renato knew that. What would Lapino do if he knew that Lapino was going to betray him? Well, he'd concoct some crazy scheme, wouldn't he? That used Lapino's betrayal against him and it would blow up his face. Maybe he was overthinking this. That would be a first. Dirty and bloody, Renato finally reached Lapino. The rabbit was practicing his shuffle. Renato recognized the cards. It was Lapino's favorite deck. Oh, I thought you were in danger. I am. The ravens are coming. Oh, the prison thing. Right, yeah, you see, this guard owed me 53 ducats, so we made a deal. They're very reasonable people, actually, for reasons. Now, I got a brilliant plan to kidnap Zenobia. We capture Zenobia, we find out what she knows, and that's the whole war right there. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Capture the Emperor's greatest general, who also happened to be a deadly sorcerer and owed his only daughter. That would be worth it. On the other hand, he could still get to the core of the Sky Ripper, even if he couldn't get the whole thing. It must have great power. Zenobia wasn't just the Emperor's daughter, of course. She'd been Renato's best friend in Swordfoot School. And you're still mad for her, the rabbit reminded him. They'd been close. She'd told him things no one else knew. But she'd never told him who she really was. She knows all the Emperor's plans, chuckled the master spy. She won't give them up easily. She'll tell the interrogators, all right, said Lapino. Taking her would change the game, all right. The city was already under Zenobia's control. I had to admire her efficiency. Renato shivered at the thought of Zenobia at the mercy of the interrogators. Could he really turn her over to them? But this was war. It wasn't meant to be pretty. Ooh, sparkly, thought Renato. Who's your next of kin? burning, and there was no one to put out the fires. If somehow Zenobia survived her father and inherited his crown, what sort of empire would she be heir to? But he couldn't think about that, could he?
This couldn't be good for global warming.
Lepino urging him to capture Zenobia. Obviously it was a trap. But you never knew how Lepino thought. Sometimes his plans were so convoluted they did the exact opposite to what Lepino wanted. There must be some way to play on that, Bernardo thought. These really slice like ham.
What just happened? Ah.
So, what's this plan of yours?
Use me as bait, said Lepino.
And he outlined a slightly complicated plan that involved geese, a net, setting the Farfarer a little bit on fire, Lepino dressing as an old blind toad, and Renardo hiding inside a monstrous watermelon. What could possibly go wrong? Thought Renardo. Oh, this is going to be fun, said Lepino, as he ran to go set up his marvelous plan. Felt dubious about the whole plan. With every step, he was waiting for it all to go horribly wrong. But against all odds, Lepino's idiotic plan worked. Zenobia's ravens ran off after the geese, the net dropped, and Renato jumped out of the watermelon and put his sword to Zenobia's throat. Renato, she said, are those new scars? They look good on you. You never returned my velvet jacket. It was my favorite. You look stupid in velvet. Oh, what does an imperial princess know about style? Oh, get a room, you two, said Latino. But the fleet was coming on fast, so they put Zenobia on the Farfarer and took her east, over the Nexus. She'd vanished from Swordful School, from his life, without even saying goodbye, without ever telling him she was the Emperor's adopted daughter. Ah, Lapina was right, Renato thought reluctantly. She knows things. She recognized his look. You're taking me to the interrogators, aren't you? She said, wide-eyed. And then she jumped, with horror. Renato saw Zenobia plummeting. Then he saw the Nexus below them. Cats always land on their feet. Oh, she'd head for the Imperial outpost. Never know. You have to catch her. Cats can run faster, but foxes can run longer. If he ran, he could head her off before she reached her minions at the outpost. Well, he did love a good chase. This was much easier than free climbing. Take her home, he thought. He was closing on her. He could smell her fear. He tried not to think about the interrogators at the secret base. What they do to her. Maybe it didn't have to end that way. Maybe he could talk to her. But, after all, there were worse things the Imperials had done to friends of his.
It did not matter how outnumbered the rebellion was. The secrets Zenobia held had leveled the playing field. Code, password. She could wreak havoc with just a few whispers to a far speaker.
Renato reached the outpost. The Imperials there were no match for him. Soon after, Zenobia limped up the path. When she realized he was already in front of her, she didn't even try to run. Oh, you left without saying goodbye. Again, he said, please. You're enjoying this a little too much, she said, shaking. Ah, spare us the chit-chat, would you? said Lapino as he shackled her hands so she couldn't throw spells. She knows all his plans. All the way back to the farm. Lapino nagged Renata about how the interrogators would pry all the intel out of Zenobia. How that would turn the tides in the imminent battle. All they had to do was take her to the rebel secret base. Renata didn't like to think about what the interrogators would do to her. Couldn't he just talk to her? As they reached the ruins, Renata would see ravens everywhere, searching for the rebel base. They'd have to hide the Farfarer or go on foot. What if we get separated? Asked Lapino. For once, thinking ahead. I'll draw you out to the base. Renata told Lapino. Renato, don't do this, said Zenobia. We were friends once. We shut it, witch, or I'll shackle your mouth too, said Lapino. See? Renato thought. There was no way Lapino was working for the Empire. He really hated Zenobia. And then, a few moments later, they touched down. As Lapino pulled Zenobia off the Farfarer, Renato readied himself for battle ahead. I'm sorry I nicked your jacket, she said. It's just... It's true, but it smelled like you. What? He said, confused. Then... Why didn't you ride? Why didn't you first speak? Oh, save for the mountain nostalgia. Let's go! Shrieked Lapino. So Renato launched himself down the path to the secret base. Hypatia, the kid's mother. Renato had never thought he'd date a librarian. He'd always figured himself for the barmaid type. But then, he'd never figured the library of Rubar would have comic books, or that Hypatia would know anything about them. He missed her. She'd run to the outposts. There was something wrong with the way none of Lapino's plans had gone wrong yet. It wasn't like him. Hero wall, hero sword, firewall, fire, extinguisher. They caught their breath. "It's beautiful," she said, looking at the ruins. "This used to be the library of Ubar," he said. "Before your father's ravens smashed it. Do we have to talk politics?" she asked. "That's not how I want to remember you," she said with an odd, wistful look at her face. She was as beautiful as she'd ever been, and as brave. Lapino huffed. They got back on the trail. Everything hurt. And then it didn't.
Freddy's over here.
Hey, why don't you guys fight in groups? Oh, I know. Because there's no I in team. Long stairs.
So he was close to the rebel base. Nothing was on fire. So far, so good.
Renato could feel his wounds closing. It was weird.
As they made their way to the secret rebel base, Renato felt strange. Zenobia was his prisoner, yet somehow
she felt more like an old friend. He wanted to tell her all the secrets, but suddenly, the ruins lit up with thousands of fireworks. There was a thunderous roar and dust rose. The caves were collapsing.
The caves.
You've been playing me? Bernardo said, and he stared at Zenobia. I'm sorry, she said. She seemed almost embarrassed. Then, everything went dark. When Bernardo came to, he had a terrible headache. Also, Zenobia's sword was at his throat. And her shackles were gone. So was Lupino. The terrible thing is, he said, I really have missed you. Now that we've destroyed the rebellion, would you consider becoming an advisor to the Emperor's daughter? I'm no one's servant. Everybody serves. Even if it's only destiny. I like to choose my own destinies, he said. The whole point of a destiny is you can't choose. Never mind, she said. Look, if I see you again, I'll have to kill you. He watched her ship soar away. He would see her again, he decided. Even if he had to fight his way across the entire fleet. The Imperial fleet was cleaning up the few rebel remnants. For only a moment, he thought about running. But heroes don't run, even when the world is against them. Even when their cause is hopeless, and their efforts futile, and pointless, and useless, and death painful and guaranteed. He's decided to stop thinking for a while. There it was again. The back door to the portal that went to the center of the fleet. Bernardo's arm was sore, his armor wet with raven blood. He was tired of death. But death was not yet tired of him. The rebels were losing. Badly. In some other universe, Bernardo thought, he and Zenobia had left sword through school together, taken other names and sailed off into the mist. Not this. And not him. For him, there was nothing to do but the forge ahead. Kill the Emperor and end this. It was a bit windy up here. Soon he confronts the Emperor. Again. This time, he'd make an end of him. He'd screwed up last time, but he had a good feeling about this time.
Uh-oh, let's see what happens.
He reached the Emperor's ship. Zenobia was there. Why'd you have to come back? She said, guess I'm just serving my destiny. He shrugged. You don't even know what that word means. She said, do you ever wonder if things have been different all the time? She said, and drew her sword. In the end, Bernardo lay bleeding out on the deck. Zenobia sat by his side, upset. What are you so upset about? He asked. You wouldn't understand. Why? Why didn't you tell me you were going to leave school? I was afraid you convinced me not to. I guess I'll have to buy you a drink in the halls of the Valiant then, he told her. And then he was gone. He should go back to some of the choices he'd faced before. Maybe there were new paths that had opened up. Like those doors he was opening up all over the map that took him to new and around his enemies. But he'd learned another true thing. Zenobia still had feelings for him.
Now what?
The book's pages fluttered to the beginning once again. Faster than before? And he fell. The clouds parted over the Isles of Boreas. It was time to choose. The rebellion was in
So there's gonna
trouble.
be a new entry?
Ravens were scouting for the secret rebel base. They needed a game changer. Pieces of the Sky River had surfaced. Bernardo knew he
Stop
was
playing right here,
using it
I think.
catastrophically wrong. But he was sure he could figure out how to use it safely. Also, a temple had risen out of empty desert.
The Iblis stone was hidden there. It was a dangerous artifact. It could corrupt its user into a bloodthirsty monster. Maybe he could find a way to use it. To take its power without surrendering to its wickedness. And also, his old friend Lapino needed rescuing. Of course.
The key.
Bernardo had a pretty strong suspicion that Lapino had betrayed the rebellion. And he had a gut feeling that he needed to use that to his advantage.
Well, I'll continue next time.